What's up there, YouTube friends? Cheddar here, back with another video. First off, I hope you're doing well. I hope your day is going great, and I hope everything just goes well for you today. Thank you for clicking on this video and for joining me. This is a quick review of the new Linkin Park album, From Nothing, From Zero, actually. I should correct it. It's From Zero is the name of the album. I'm looking at a little guide here, so if I seem distracted, I'm just looking at the album and the track listing. It's From Zero. It's the 2024 album from Linkin Park. I listened to it yesterday, so I'm going to do a bit of a review here. I'll tell you my thoughts. That's what's in review, is what I thought. It's my review of the album with my information and my opinion, and that is what I will provide to you, the viewer. Although, would I call you a viewer if you're only listening? Or that you're just a listener then? But that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. I'm here to review the album. And first off, I just want to say that I'm not traditionally a Linkin Park fan, okay? I'm not really into Linkin Park. There's been some songs that I think are good. Breaking the Habit is probably one of the go-to favorites from them, but I've never really liked Linkin Park, okay? I'm just not a fan, okay? I'm not here to review the whole band. I just never really got into their music. Some of it just has felt generic, or has just felt, it hasn't really pulled me in. I guess just the best way to say it, okay? I'm not a hater. I know there are definitely Linkin Park haters, and I think there's way worse bands, but I just think I've just never been into Linkin Park, okay? So I heard some hype about this album. I've already been, educated or informed of some of the drama and the situation of the new singer, Emily Armstrong, and some of her, personal matters and what have you. But yeah, I went into this album approaching it with, I always go into things with low to no expectations. I just want to experience something interesting or good, or that will make me think or just feel good, and that's what this album is. This album is a 32-minute exciting package with a lot of variety, and it's a pretty impressive album, their new album. So I'm gonna give this I like pulling the curtains back, telling you basically the conclusion right away. I think it's good. I think it's worth going through. It's only 30 minutes, 32 minutes. It's pretty short. It's a concise album. There's 11 tracks, and every single track is good. Every single track has heart. That's a lot of what I look for, or what I'm listening to. Just in an album are there generic tracks that they filled space. And in this album, there doesn't feel like any generic tracks. Every song feels like it has its point. From where the album starts, track 1, is an intro track, and you get the Linkin Park levels of metal, but the album has variety as it goes along. You get more metal or metalcore focused songs. You get more introspective, almost regular rock songs. You get some rap rock songs. You get more rap oriented songs. They did a good job in this short package of giving it quite a bit of variety. I was impressed. There's enough variety to where you get different kinds of tracks, but everything still feels the same. It all feels like it belongs in this package. I'm just impressed, honestly, just with how much I like the album. I don't love it. I don't want to paint the wrong picture, and I'm not in love with the album. I just generally don't love or like Linkin Park stuff this much, and this album, I think, is really well done. I think they did a good job arranging this album and with its construction. I'm not going to go to this album a lot, but there are fun songs on it. My favorites are probably The Emptiness Machine, Cut the Bridge, Heavy as the Crown is good too. I liked Two-Face, and Stain was good too. But all the tracks have their points. I don't feel like there's any track is really a skip. That's part of what I look for too, is or not to say that I look for, but of what affects my appreciation of the album is if there are some songs that I like, but I have to skip through, and I end up only liking 5 out of the 10 songs, that could affect it. But every song here is good. So I think it's worth going through. There's some that are heavier hitting than others, but even the lower point songs, like the lower energy songs, are still good, and they still have their place, and they serve a purpose in the album. So man, it was just an exciting album to go through. And I want to make a special note, like what sounds good about it. Maybe I should touch into that too. I mean, the band, just the guitars, the instruments, everything sounds clean but raw, and I like that a lot, where it sounds well recorded, it sounds well produced, but it doesn't sound overly clean. There's a lot of newer metals and just metal styles of metal that will sound so produced and so clean. And if you are going to go to metal, this is just, my touches on it. I like the more raw stuff. It's got to be really brutal, really raw, really, I guess I would use the word raw, and this album feels professional and clean, but raw too at the same time. So that's what I was pretty impressed with. And I think one of the best parts of the album too is Emily Armstrong is the vocalist. I see why they picked her. I'm not sure who was in charge of the decision making, like if it was the band collectively, or if Mike Shinoda, Shinobi, one of that guy, if Mike, Big M, if it was just his call. But Emily Armstrong, I see why they picked her, and I think she does a great job. She's probably my favorite part about this album. She is the greatest sense of life in this album. It's her screaming, she has such an energy when she's yelling into the microphone. She has such a life force to her that it's kind of intense, and it's just fucking awesome to hear. I just really, it's cool. It's amazing. So she's the coolest part of the album. And, I guess I can touch base on, should we separate the art from the artist? And in some cases, well, that's it can be a complicated measure. Basically, I'm going to say you do you, okay? If there's an artist that, has done bad stuff, but you like their music, I think you're fine listening to the music without saying, you support those people, okay? Like the band Lost Prophets, okay? I don't think you're a bad person if you go back to listen to any of your old favorite Lost Prophets song. I mean, they're probably ruined, but I'm just saying that wouldn't make you a bad person. You would be a bad person if you say, free Ian Watkins. That would make you a not good person. But anyway, Emily Armstrong, it doesn't matter to me if she's a Scientologist. I don't like Scientology. I'm not really a fan of just organized religion stuff in general. If for spirituality, I want people to be, spiritual. And I think Scientology is basically a force against that, and there's lots of things that Scientology stands against that I just don't like Scientology. Okay. That's just the simplest way. But it doesn't bother me. I don't think it's relevant to how good Emily Armstrong is performing on this album. If I'm just addressing this album and how good the music is, she was the right choice. I'm not sure if they could have found someone to perform better for the parts that she was doing. She was so excellent, and it makes me want to hear the album again. It really does. Is her vocals. So I love when ladies scream on the microphone. I was a fan of Arch Enemy back in the day, 20 years ago. And so it's I like when ladies scream. Hayley Williams also is good too. But yeah, ladies screaming, hell yeah. So anyway, this album, I would say, to give it some kind of score ranking, I put it in B tier. I'd put it in B tier. I don't love it, but it's really good, and I'm really impressed with it. And I would be happy to hear this album again. Very few skips. I say go listen to it if you haven't, and it's worth checking out. If you don't like it, man, it's 30 minutes. You're not even getting a lot. It's not like a big bloated album, so it's worth diving into. You can skip some tracks if you want to, if you're trying to go through it fast, but man, it's a good 30 minutes. So 1 thumbs up from me, I'll put it in B tier. If I were to make a Linkin Park tier list, that's where I would expect to put From Zero. But yeah, that's good. So this is just a quick review from nothing, From Zero of Linkin Park. So thank you, Linkin Park, for making the album. Thank you, viewer / listener, for viewing / listening. And thank you to me for making the video, I guess. And yeah, that's it. So thank you, world. Thank you, everyone. This is just my hippie shit. I'm sorry. I just, I'm a humanist. I want everything to be good for everyone, even though that's sort of a contradiction. That's just how I feel. That's what's in my cheddar heart. Okay, so I hope you have a good day. Thank you for listening to my rambling. I will see you in the next video. Peace out.